Hey folks, we're just going to give everyone a second here to log in before we start today's webinar. All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar, co-hosted by the New York Oracle User Group and Oracle partner Viscosity North America. Today's webinar is from our Oracle Level Up series, featuring project managers from the Oracle Enterprise and Cloud Observability and Management team. This is a live webinar, so feel free to submit questions in the Q&A field. That's not the chat field. So if you can use the Q&A, and that way the speaker and the team we have from Oracle with us today can get back to you quickly. You can post anonymously there. You can post with your name, but all Q&A is posted for everyone to see. So keep that in mind. All right. So we've got Romit Acharya from the Oracle Enterprise Management Product Management team presenting for us today. And he's got several of his team members here, as I said, helping to moderate the questions live. Again, use the Q&A chat. Yes, this is going to be recorded, and yes, you will have access to the recording. And if Romit chooses to share a copy of his slide deck and any other resources he has for you. So thank you guys for joining us today. Today's session, as I said, is co-hosted by Viscosity and NYOUG. My name is Monica. I'm the marketing director here at Viscosity, a full Oracle stack consulting firm with core expertise in Oracle database, including RAC, Oracle Apex. We perform near zero downtime migrations, performance tuning, high availability. We've got decades of experience with infrastructure, including engineered systems, you name it. And lately we have been prepping our clients for Oracle Database 23C, and we host monthly workshops through orapub.com. I'm going to tell you a little more about Viscosity, but first, I have NYOUG board members Coleman Leviter and Rob Edwards with us today. Rob is going to tell us a little bit about NYOUG first.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. I'm Rob. I'm treasurer of the New York Oracle Users Group. NYOUG was formed in 1984 for the exchange of ideas, assistance, and support among users of Oracle software products. We can be found on Twitter, Meetup, LinkedIn, Facebook, and on our own website at nyoug.org. We wish to thank Viscosity and Monica for co-hosting these webinars for the past 3 years. Monica?
Thank you so much, Rob. Yes, it's been a great 3 years. We've had some awesome presenters like we have today. So we're going to keep them coming out for you guys. Hopefully you continue to visit our webinars. All right. And I'll make my bit as quick as I can. So we can get to the good stuff. All right, so here we go. Viscosity is built on these 3 main pillars: data, apps, and cloud. Across the bottom, you can see services or offerings we have across all 3 pillars. So if we can help you solve any problems throughout anything you see here, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you out and get you connected with some of my awesome colleagues, such as some of these people seen here. We've got 5 Oracle ACEs and 1 Oracle ACE alumni right now. If you're not familiar with the Oracle ACE program, it recognizes folks in the Oracle community who do not work for Oracle Corporation, but are out there speaking, writing, publishing, anything they can on Oracle technologies. And these are folks that Oracle has deemed recognizable, and they give them 3 different tiered designations, Oracle ACE Director being the top. So we've got a couple of those. I think there are less than 50 in the US, So we've got quite a few of them. But hopefully you have seen some of these guys present at either user group functions, conferences, etc. They present really around the world, and they are really awesome. And they are also the folks helping our clients at Viscosity. All right, on this slide, it's again a couple of our services we provide, our most popular services, I should say. The stuff I like to point out the most outside of performance tuning and migrations is Oracle License Management. That is where we feel like we have a big value for our customers. It's always a little confusing working with Oracle sales, and we work with Oracle sales all the time. They are folks that we meet with in person and remotely constantly, and we're always working with them and our clients to kind of be an easy middleman. We just want to make sure you are paying for exactly what you need. We want to help make sure you're in compliance before even the step of reaching out to Oracle sales sometimes. So it's something we do regularly, so it's easy for us. It's probably harder for you and your team. So definitely use an Oracle partner like Viscosity to help with that. On this slide, I've got some of our books. A couple of them are brand spanking new. We've got Oracle Database Performance Tuning came out this year. Oracle Upgrading Oracle Databases came out this year as well. And then Oracle on Docker also came out. It's been a bestseller. And this one's by Sean Scott, one of our Oracle ACE directors. And the other two are collaborations, I believe, between a couple of our folks. Okay, and finally, orapub.com is where Viscosity keeps all of our recordings and our slide decks and other things. We also do live training through Orapub. I highly recommend checking it out. If you've not signed up for even a free membership, I would go do that now. It's where we will post a recording of this video, as well as NYOUG. They'll have it posted separately as well. But we've got a ton of content on here, and it's all free. You can sift through the last couple years, I believe, of webinars, white papers, things like that. And then you also get to see our training calendar. We do up to like 3 days of live training, and those classes are hosted by our ACE directors and ACE pros, and sometimes guest speakers pop up there. So definitely check it out. You can see events from Orapub on the Viscosity site as well at events.viscosityna.com. Yeah, check it out. Lots of great resources there. Right. And this is old, but I decided to keep it up because we just finished Kscope 23. If you made it there, we actually have all of our sessions posted on Orapub as well. Any conference we go to, we always post our presentations on orapub.com as well. And if you guys made it there, great. Hopefully you got to stop by and see me. And if not, hopefully I'll see you at another user group conference. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Rob, who's going to introduce our speaker today, and then we'll get the show started. Last reminders, it's a live webinar. Use the Q&A field. Folks will get back to you either live or they'll type responses to you. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Monica. Romit Acharya is a principal product manager with Oracle Corporation. Romit, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Monica. Let me quickly share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Just need a confirmation.
Yes, we can see it fine, Romit.
Perfect. Thanks, Steve. Good morning, all. My name is Romit Acharya, and I'm one of the product managers here at Oracle for Enterprise Manager. I look after fleet maintenance, a licensed product under Database Lifecycle Management Pack used for updating and upgrading databases. I'm excited to present this session with you as I'll talk about a brand new feature called Fleet Maintenance Hub. With this new feature, we aimed to automate patch recommendations and assessment of your targets against these recommendations for you, as both these tasks are time-consuming and error-prone, but at the same time, extremely critical for a successful completion of patch iteration. We are confident that using Fleet Maintenance Hub, you'll get time back in your day and will be more secure than ever and hence the title for today's presentation. Experienced resources from Oracle join me as panelists today who will be more than willing to answer your queries. So please feel free to ask. IT management transition to cloud is underway. Most enterprises currently have mixed or hybrid IT, with some applications running in the cloud and others still on premises in traditional data center. Over time, more and more IT assets will move to the cloud, but most enterprises will continue to be in this state of mixed IT for a very long time. This cloud transition has a direct impact on systems management, and their requirements are also evolving. There are three key areas that modern systems management tools need to address. The first is hybrid cloud management. We need to enable customers to manage their entire IT state across on-premises and the cloud from the same tool, forcing you to manage on-premise environments on one way and cloud environments in a completely different way creates operation and data silos and is inefficient and error-prone. Second is ops automation. We need to enhance automation to allow for faster problem resolution, better compliance, and security. It's difficult to operate at cloud speed if you have to perform a lot of manual operations. The more you can automate your operations, the better the quality of service you can provide. Third, we need to enable you to operate across environments that are constantly changing and support many different technologies. In addition, enterprises deploy multiple tools for management and monitoring purposes. It is therefore important that tools be extensible and interoperate well with other tools in the ecosystem. Over the past year, we have been working to address these requirements in Oracle Enterprise Manager. Automation not only improves your efficiency in completing tasks, but also improves the overall configuration and reliability of the systems. Let me quickly introduce Ops Automation solution in Enterprise Manager. To begin with, I want to take a moment to introduce Database Lifecycle Management Pack that provides a rich set of features that supports database consolidation, enforces standardization, manages for security compliance, secures configuration of your assets, and automates time-consuming tasks. As the number of data breaches continue to increase, more and more companies are elevating their IT risk management and measuring their security posture against the compliance defined by their respective security office. With Database Lifecycle Management, you can automate day-to-day operational tasks, manage and secure your assets compliance with industry and regulatory standards like CIS, STIG, HIPAA, or PCI DSS. Strengthen configuration security, manage changes, especially undesired changes to reduce the risk of breaches. And you can leverage built-in autonomous health framework, that is ExaCheck, to secure and manage your Exadata infrastructure stack for any health, performance, and security issues. Another critical day-to-day operations task you must have in place is ensuring your database assets have all required recommended security patches to help protect your customer-sensitive data going into the hands of bad actors. And DBLM has a solution called Fleet Maintenance that helps you in achieving this along with compliance management. There are numerous benefits of leveraging solutions in DBLM. The first benefit is directly tied to addressing your CAPEX and OPEX. It helps you in consolidation of assets for ease of deployment and management across hybrid multi-cloud environments. You can assess utilization of deployed assets over the time and make data-driven new capacity determination. By leveraging out-of-box DBLM solutions, you can automate complex, time-consuming, and repetitive operations, reducing your overall operating expense. Second benefit is all about reducing and proactively managing risk. You can standardize, consolidate, and secure configuration of each of your database assets. For example, you can standardize on well-known Oracle Home configuration. This means a lower maintenance cost, enhanced security posture, and compliance with your IT security and audit policies. As a DBA, you'll have the responsibility to reduce the risk by ensuring all recommended security patches are applied. But how do you figure out what are the recommended security patches? How do you know which patch is more critical than the other? And how do you know which assets, that is the databases, are affected? DBLM helps you in automated assessment, remediate deviations, recommend security patches, identify affected images and databases assets so that you can take the next step to resolve vulnerabilities and reduce your risk. Third benefit is tied to enhancing your team's productivity by leveraging their skills in innovating new solutions to grow your business. Today, DBAs spend lots of time each day in time-consuming activities. So why not automate these tactical day-to-day operations so that DBAs can spend their precious time in innovating new solutions to grow your business? With Database Lifecycle Management Pack, you can do comprehensive management of databases, starting from provisioning a database to securing them to be compliant with security policies defined by your security office, and also be able to take inventory of the databases deployed. So just to summarize, with DBLM, you can get automated security patch recommendations, automate complex patching activities, standardize on Oracle Home configuration, be compliant with industry and regulatory standards, monitor and manage undesired configuration changes, and take stock of inventory and its utilization over a period of time. With the DBLM, you can do comprehensive management of databases both in on-premise and Exadata cloud, starting from provisioning a database to securing them to be compliant with security policies. In today's session, we'll primarily focus on lifecycle management and patch recommendations with the intent to showcase solutions for you to secure your assets. Just reiterating, with this pack, you have been able to perform lifecycle management of your database assets, secure configurations, and manage compliance with your policies. And with Cloud Management Pack, you can enable self-service users for on-demand use by building out private cloud, leveraging on-premise Exadata infrastructure, and leveraging various other features in Cloud Management Pack like Chargeback and SnapClone. We continue to enhance all these existing capabilities. We also are focused on innovating new solutions, expanding capabilities so that this becomes your one tool for securing your assets. Now, we are extending the same capabilities for Exadata Cloud. Let's see the various compliance options we get with Database Lifecycle Management Pack. Securing an Oracle database is much like securing any other system. You are protecting your data that could be intellectual property, financial data, personal data about your customers or staff, or more likely, a combination of all three. Because data is valuable, you need to guard against theft and misuse. You need to safeguard the data with security controls that restrict access according to your policy by using either industry standard benchmarks or custom policies. By securing the configuration of Oracle databases, underlying Linux host, and Exadata engineered system, you can get a unified view of overall security compliance of all these targets managed by Enterprise Manager. There are a broad set of standards provided by Enterprise Manager for databases, for Linux hosts, and for Exadata engineered systems. By securing each of your targets, you are essentially securing your infrastructure stack and improving your security posture. You can automate remediation of any violations, thus reducing the DB time in manual remediation of each target DB owns, which is going to be very time consuming. While securing database configuration is important, it is also critical to secure the underlying host. Now, let's look at what is available for Linux hosts so that you can leverage these standards for protecting your infrastructure. Enterprise Manager supports SCAP framework for Linux hosts by leveraging OpenSCAP engine in the host. Standards like PCI DSS, HIPAA, and STIG are supported out of the box for Linux 7 and 8. So, if you are in the healthcare segment, you want to secure your Linux environment to be HIPAA compliant, you can leverage this out of the box standard. On similar lines, if you are financial or retail segment, you can leverage PCI DSS to secure Linux hosts. Now, if you look at each rule in PCI DSS or HIPAA or other supported SCAP standards, you'll find almost all these are cross-referenced with rules in other standards like CIS control, COBIT framework, critical infrastructure cybersecurity, and others. Last set of rules are exactly the same across many standards. So if you're looking for, say, COBIT framework support, you will likely see many rules already supported. If there are any unsupported rules, there is an option to create these rules within Enterprise Manager Compliance Framework. Finally, for Linux hosts, if there is any other standard that you might be interested in, as long as it is in XCCDF format, you can import into EM Compliance Framework and use it just like any other compliance standard in Enterprise Manager.
Hey, Romit, real quickly, some folks may be thinking, well, we're not in the government, so this isn't really applicable to us, or we are in a particular industry where, we don't think that type of standard is, applicable. But overall, my understanding, the two current areas are idle type practices. And in fact, COBIT seems to have risen to the top these days. And as long as you're following one of the frameworks, that's typically things that, the auditors are looking for, that you're following at least some type of framework or guidelines, versus nothing at all. So again, just for those who are listening, just because you're not in a particular industry or area doesn't mean you can't use some of these, because some of these are much more secure than others. And it's not a bad idea sometimes to be more secure than you have to be.
Absolutely. So let me go ahead. In this slide, for database 12C and 19C, there is support for CIS benchmark, which is again out of the box. It supports all target database types, such as single instance, cluster, and multi-tenant. Enterprise Manager support STIG standards that are periodically published by Department of Defense. STIG standards for 11.2G, 12C, and 19C database targets are already supported. Enterprise Manager also supports Oracle's own set of security best practices and recommendations. Each of these standards provide a set of compliance checks for various components of the database. Whether you want to focus on just the database initialization parameters or monitor user privileges or more broader checks. In addition to these out-of-the-box rules, you can either customize each of these rules or create a brand new rule that aligns with your security policy. In addition to all these capabilities, Enterprise Manager now integrates DBSAT for you to assess database security posture at scale. Earlier, I talked ways to secure your databases and underlying hosts to reduce security exposure risk. In addition to that, now you can secure underlying Exadata engineered systems too. You can choose to secure every Exadata component based on your choice. By doing this, you're securing everything from databases to infrastructure. Here is a quick walkthrough of out-of-the-box DB-set compliance standard in Enterprise Manager. There are unique security rules spread across various areas. You can secure, detect, and remediate database assets. Uniquely security controls spread across various areas like user access and restrictions, database configurations, fine-grained access control, auditing system activities, and sensitive data identification. And there will be notification for each violation. You can review each violation and manually remediate, or you can establish auto remediation to correct any violations. Let's look at how you can secure your database assets, some of the prevailing challenges, and a quick introduction of fleet maintenance. Before I get into specific details of the solution, I want to take a moment to look at various stakeholders in your organization, where each of them have critical roles to play for securing your assets. Your chief financial officer, who is responsible for all the financial aspects of the company, plays the role of an influencer in making sure required regulatory compliance requirements are in place to ensure each asset is secure and compliant with audit policies. CFO wants to make sure there aren't negative financial implications because of breaches or non-compliance to auditing requirements. Your Chief Information Security Officer has key responsibilities in securing every aspect of your asset to protect sensitive business and customer data, and also ensure each asset is compliant with various compliance policies. He'll be looking at areas like practices and tools to put in place to patch vulnerabilities in a timely manner, ways to continuously monitor and manage secure configurations of assets and its corresponding compliance needs, identify solutions for vulnerabilities because of human factor, be it human error or risky behavior or any potential insider threat, and define remediations for each of these deviations beside lot other activities. Other stakeholders like CIOs, architects, DBAs, and system administrators have similar responsibilities. If you look at the roles of each stakeholder, their top security concerns are monitor and manage risk, be it in applying security patches to address known vulnerabilities or potential misconfigurations or other threats, and ensure each asset is compliant with audit policies. But before we explore our automation solution for patching, it is important to understand some of the challenges our customers face during patching. Unpatched systems carry significant vulnerability risks. And if you look at various breaches, you'll find 4 key macro level reasons. Number 1 is unpatched systems. Assets with missing security patches that makes them highly vulnerable. If you look at the industry reports, you'll see about 21% of the breaches are due to unpatched systems, even though patches were available from Oracle but not applied. Second is misconfigurations. Again, if you look at various data breach reports, you'll see nearly 50% of the breaches are due to misconfigurations. And this has become the preferred way for bad actors to exploit and get hold of sensitive information. Misconfiguration error occurs when an employee, typically a system administrator with elevated privileges, stands up a production environment without aligning with security controls defined by the security team. The third challenge is tied to configuration sprawl. What this essentially means is there are way too many configurations of the same product in your environment, creating a configuration pollution scenario. The challenge is managing numerous variants of Oracle homes created by various users within your organization. And within a short period of time, you'll reach a point where it becomes unmanageable. These configuration variations increases your risk and support cost. And if you're doing all this with homegrown scripts, your overall cost over a period of time is bound to grow higher. The fourth challenge is compromised credentials. Bad actors continue to drive breaches. In 2022, 82% of the breaches involved the use of stolen credentials, weak passwords, shared credentials, and privilege misuse. People continue to play a very large role in security incidents and breaches. These are precisely some of the reasons why everyone in your organization has a role to play with the key strategic priority of securing customer data. At a high level, fleet maintenance is enterprise managers' patching and upgrade solution. You can secure your databases and grid infrastructure by applying all required patches. Fleet maintenance is an state-driven solution. It can provide recommendations of Oracle published patches and identify your database targets that are missing these recommended security patches. There are many customers who want to perform certain level of customizations either before or after patching. Fleet maintenance gives you an ability to include pre-scripts and also post-scripts so that you can get these customizations done as a part of patching workflow and also get it done in the same maintenance window. You can patch or upgrade databases at scale by different ways. You could leverage REST APIs for end-to-end automation via DevOps tools like Ansible, Chef, or Terraform. Or you can call these interfaces from other orchestration engines like ServiceNow. Or you can use Smart User Interface. So what's in it for you? Well, there are tangible benefits. Fleet maintenance will enable you to always have a security first or patch to secure process in the place. You can comply with your patch policies, get insight into vulnerabilities in each of your managed targets, provide configuration recommendations so that you can standardize on well-known set of configurations and lower your overall operational expenses. With cloud adoption, modern businesses have applications across hybrid environments. It is critical to modernize your patching process to align with the new environment. Using different tools for each environment creates silos, inefficiencies, and also skill gaps in the team. You need one tool that can manage your databases across hybrid environment to access prioritized patch recommendations, get insight into affected database assets, and be able to remediate to align with your patch compliance policies. For patching databases across this hybrid environment, Enterprise Manager is your one tool. Same user experience, same workflow for patching databases across these hybrid environments. With this one tool, you get consistent user experience. No new skills to be learned for on-premise or cloud asset. You can schedule your patching operation. You can have processes like deploy Tuesday and update Saturday, as fleet maintenance gives you flexibility in scheduling, deploy, and update operations. And you can troubleshoot any issues with ease, retry, and resume them.
Romit, could you go back just a second? Sorry, we had a related question and that slide's just full of information there. So for some folks who are using the Oracle Cloud, you may be familiar that services in some cases include automated patching. Well, in the case of DBLM, if you've got databases on-premise and the cloud, you certainly want to be, comparing and making sure your environments, are similar. You don't want something going rogue, out in the cloud, or you want to be keeping things at, say the same patch level on premise as, what is happening in the cloud. And certainly, Enterprise Manager and DBLM is going to help you do that. Also, developers have been, very prolific putting environments and databases out in other clouds, such as Amazon or Azure. And so again, for consistency across the different environments, whether it's, behind your firewall in your data center, it's on Oracle's cloud or one of these other vendors' cloud, i.e. multi-cloud, you can continue to have, consistency across these. Now, the other question, Romit, and we had just gotten this last week, was someone asking about, some third-party solutions, and most certainly a lot of large companies have those. In itself, around the Oracle database and Enterprise Manager technology, there's practically a new release every 6 weeks now. Everything has gone agile. And so we are constantly updating and releasing our support for our, of course, own databases. And typically Oracle's going to have the earliest support and the broadest and deepest support because it is our database technology. So a lot of things are applicable when you have your databases in just one environment.
Absolutely, Steve. So as mentioned previously, fleet maintenance is the solution for you to keep your assets secure by ensuring all security patches are applied. It supports databases 11.204 onwards, all the way to 21C, and beyond across a broad range of underlying environments. You can patch and upgrade a single instance database, multi-tenant that could be both your container databases or pluggable, rack configurations, and grid infrastructure. These database assets can be updated with or without data guard configuration. There are 3 macro steps involved in upgrading and patching your assets. You scan your fleet to identify configuration pollution or missing security patches and get the recommendations. You create a gold image with relevant security patches and subscribe database assets to this gold image. And lastly, deploy the gold image and switch these assets to the new Oracle home. We continue to add more capabilities to fleet maintenance. In the past few months, we have expanded our UI capabilities. Now, you can upgrade a database instance to PDB. You can roll back grid infrastructure and Oracle restart failures. You can upgrade and patch pluggable databases. You can now use the chaining option in deploy and update operations. From a security perspective, we have PAM integration in place. You can use the PAM solution during the update and upgrade process. We are now also supporting TDE-enabled databases by making use of init file. And finally, we have APIs and CLIs for getting patch recommendations information that can be used for refreshing your gold images. This is a very high-level introduction to fleet maintenance and its key capabilities. Now, let's take a real-life scenario to see fleet maintenance in action. One of the reasons for you to patch your targets is to apply all recommended security patches published by Oracle. As and when Oracle publishes critical patch updates, that is CPUs, every quarter, you want to make sure recommended security patches are applied on all affected database targets. Let's pick an example. Let's say Oracle's July CPU had few recommended security patches. If you assessed and applied those CPU patches before the next release, you are in good shape. But let's assume you don't have a quarterly patching model aligned with CPU releases. Now, October CPU comes out that has few more recommended security patches. This time, you have patches from July CPU plus October CPU. Fast forward to Jan CPU that also has few recommended security patches. Your outstanding security patches have ballooned up based on the last 3 CPU releases. More importantly, you have database targets missing security patches for past 9 months, which makes them highly vulnerable. Fast forward again to April CPU, which has its own set of recommended security patches. And cumulative from last 4 quarters, you have ended up with good number of recommended patches. At a bare minimum, if you're not aligned with quarterly patching cycle, you are essentially increasing vulnerability risk for your database targets. Depending on the patching model you have, let's look at what you would typically do to identify a list of security recommended patches. To begin with, you review each Oracle CPU bulletin when published. You go to MOS, look for published recommended patches, do the manual mapping of CVEs listed in the CPU and the patches published in MOS. You get the desired list of recommended patches and severity of each recommended patch. Amongst thousands of your database targets, you determine the affected targets because you do not know if all assets are affected or just a subset of those at this point of time. And then you apply the required patches to these vulnerable targets. If you're following quarterly patching model and keep an eye on Oracle CPU every quarter, you're already spending tangible amount of time to complete these activities. If you're patching twice a year or once a year, then your workload is multifold higher because you need to review recommendations from all Oracle CPUs since your last CPU assessment. On an average, an enterprise IT spends 12 man weeks, that's 1 quarter in a year, for 1 DBA, just to do this entire assessment. It's a lot of DBA time that could be leveraged for growing your business. Would it not be ideal if Fleet Maintenance Hub can solve all this for you? Provide automated, prioritized list of recommended security patches when they are published, insight into affected database targets, and workflow to apply these patches to the affected targets to ensure patch compliance. This is where our brand new Fleet Maintenance Hub comes into play. This is a brand new feature, the hub for all fleet maintenance activities. Let us look at this in more detail. Fleet Maintenance Hub is a powerful one-stop place for customers to get insight into vulnerabilities in database assets, apply patches to affected targets, and secure each of those. Hub is a single pane of glass for security patch recommendations, vulnerabilities assessment, and patch operations. There are 3 powerful solutions in this dashboard. Let me walk you through each of them. Solution 1 is focused on the middle dashlet in the screenshot, which we call patch recommendations for images. As and when Oracle publishes quarterly CPU with either online or offline MOS connectivity, this brand new hub will automatically give you insight into affected gold images. If you have 6 different gold images, each catering to different database versions or target type or platform type, this dashboard will show you the precise list of patch recommendations for each image. If a given image is up to date, right at the top middle dashlet, you'll see green in the donut chart indicating it's up to date. If a given image is affected, you'll see it here. And in the table below, for each affected image, you can see the number of patches that are missing. For example, if there are 6 recommended patches for one image, the dashboard will show you that. And you can click on that for detailed insight into each of those 6 recommendations along with CVE base score. For this image, the dashboard will also show you the total number of subscribed targets. Clicking on the total number will give you insight into the list of those databases. It will also show you target patch compliance graph. If you see any red, it essentially means some targets are affected because of the released CPU. You can use the action menu item to apply the patch to these affected targets once the corresponding gold image is refreshed with all required patches. So this is one-stop place, giving you single pane of glass view for security patch recommendations, insight into vulnerabilities, and workflow to apply those patches to keep your assets secure. Solution 2 is focused on database targets as shown in the third dashlet at the top. This will tell you how many total number of targets are part of all the images cumulative and show you affected targets because of the impacted gold images. And you can drill down to get details of specific database targets. From the grid, you can find out target details associated with the subscribed image. From actions, again, you can launch the update operation. And there is also a filtering mechanism. You can either choose the filtering criteria by selecting the drop-down option present just above the grid, or from the dashlet, you can click on a particular part of the chart that is compliant or not compliant, and the table will be populated based on the criteria. Solution 3 is another powerful solution shown in the first dashlet. Many times, not all your databases will be part of an image that is subscribed to an image. And the fact that it is not subscribed to an image implies those are vulnerable and ideal candidates for breaches. We recommend all databases that you deploy are subscribed to the image so that you reduce the security risk. In today's world, you provision or clone hundreds of databases at regular intervals. It is very challenging and also time-consuming for DBAs to keep track of each of these databases and determine if it is subscribed to an image or not. This first dashlet solves that problem for you. As and when EM discovers and manages a new target, this dashlet will automatically give you insight into the number of databases and grid infrastructure that is not part of any image. It also gives you the option to multi-select and associate them to one of your desired gold images. With this brand new fleet maintenance hub, you can subscribe all targets to gold images and reduce the overall risk of breaches. Get insight into recommended security patches, refresh gold images, and apply those to subscribe targets to enhance your security posture. And make sure your targets are always compliant with your patch policies. With Fleet Maintenance Hub, you as an administrator will get one-stop place for insight into vulnerabilities, workflow to refresh and apply patches, giving you tangible savings in your day-to-day operational activities, eliminating any potential human error, and most importantly, keeping your patch levels compliant with your policies. This hub elevates our existing fleet maintenance user interface. The existing UI provides a smart and intuitive interface that guides you through setting up and performing all patching tasks for your database assets. You can schedule the entire patching operation in one flow that includes deploying the software, migrating the listener, and updating the database. UI also provides you an option to include scripts that can be executed as pre or post during the deployment and update phase. This is of immense benefit as it helps you to restore customizations, which are usually lost when we perform database patching or updates. So you don't need any additional outages to restore them. In the same maintenance window, the customizations can be restored back. Using this UI, you can track various operations at every step, which also gives you actionable insights for you to act upon. UI gives you the option to drill down and check the exact process which is executing, and if something goes wrong, you can fix and retry it. You can also get an option to ignore and proceed to next step. Compared to a command line, where you have to open multiple terminals to review many logs, UI not only makes the monitoring easy, but also troubleshooting, as UI can easily point you to errored out sections. There are built-in pre-checks to improve the reliability and diagnosability of the patching operations, which you can make use of it before submitting the actual patching operation. You can schedule deployment and update of database maintenance tasks based on your requirements. UI gives you an option to start right away or at a later time. There are smart listing of options. UI shows you target context field in options section for you to choose. If there is a rack target you're trying to update, it will show you only rack specific parameters, so you can easily choose parameters of importance for you. In order to enable maximum patching automation, if you want certain maintenance activities to be done for each database task, you can create pre and post scripts, customized it based on your requirements, which we just discussed in the last slide. Once you have finalized the pre and post scripts, ensure to upload these as Enterprise Manager software library entity before you use them during fleet operations. You can easily track, fix, pause, and resume fleet operations directly from Enterprise Manager. As a result of this, you get greater oversight and control of all your fleet operations. and thus you can reduce the overall time to recover from any patching issues. Procedure activity page is a single pane of glass for all monitoring and managing various patching and upgrade operations. For each patching activity, there's a unique procedure activity that will be shown each step executed in the deployment procedure. This will help you to quickly identify things that went wrong. In case you encounter an error, and once you have fixed it, you can retry from the same point where it has failed before. Here is the actual detail of procedure activity page for a given deployment procedure for you to troubleshoot any patching or upgrade issues faster. You can select a specific step of interest to see more details of every step executed and outcome of each execution. There are actions for you to take for each step. You can choose to ignore the error if you believe it is no issue and not going to impact your goal. You can retry for same step to run again. There are actions for deployment procedure 2. You can choose to either stop the run, suspend, and resume. Let's discuss third scenario that we discussed during patching challenges, which was tied to standardize your Oracle home configurations and eliminate configuration pollution. Managing numerous variants of Oracle Home created by various users within your organization is a challenge from maintenance point of view and also potential for vulnerability. Getting into the next level of details, let's see how you can get this information and standardize your data center. As mentioned earlier, scan your data center to identify configuration pollution, run advisor to analyze the database assets, identify the required standard configuration, and based on the recommendations, prepare a reference environment for each standard configuration. Once you know the well-known configurations you want to standardize on, next logical step is to create a gold image for each configuration. Create gold image with the recommended configuration that includes the patches that you want to apply for each database target, and make a desired gold image version as current so that it becomes the default gold image for the identified targets. And lastly, subscribe databases to the gold image. You then deploy the image and switch. During the deployment phase, a shared Oracle home is created, and under switch, you migrate the listener and update databases. Downtime is minimized as a result of this style of patching. Our goal is to maximize patching as many databases in the most minimum time. Enterprise Manager can now be used with any PAM solution that you might be having in your organization. Here is the Enterprise Manager integration with PAM solution as an overview. On one hand, we have Enterprise Manager setup with OMS and its repository. And on the other side, we have the PAM providers like CyberArk, HashiCorp, and others that are managing the password lifecycle for databases and hosts. The PAM tool manages the password rotation and maintains the privileged access to databases and hosts. In EM, all the named credentials are stored in the repository database, and now the databases and hosts that are managed by Enterprise Manager, the credentials are now stored in an external store. In order to retrieve the credentials, the framework needs to interact with the new security provider, which is PAM. And for that, customer needs to write an integration script that can be registered with Enterprise Manager with all the PAM attributes. When EM requires the database or host credentials for workflows like database patching or running jobs for credential framework will interact with the external provider, and it will retrieve the password for databases or host and pass the credential object to the underlying workflow. This is the overall PAM integration solution with Enterprise Manager. At the high level, PAM integration with EM consists of 3 simple steps. Step 1 is register. Here, the PAM script from customer is registered in the credential framework. Second is credential mapping. Here, the credential provider attributes are mapped with the attributes in the credential type. And lastly, we create or modify the name credential. Lastly, let's review the benefits of integrating PAM with Enterprise Manager. Extensible, simplified credential framework that allows PAM solutions to seamlessly integrate with Enterprise Manager to securely fetch the credentials. Second is risk reduction. It reduces security breaches and addresses regulatory and compliance requirements, protecting against privilege misuse. Third is auditing and reporting. With monitor privilege access activities, detect suspicious behavior, and report user activities, you can have the reporting. And lastly, increase efficiency. By controlling the number of privileged accounts and streamlining the process, PAM integration with Enterprise Manager help organizations become more efficient and improve their overall security posture. This solution works on a shared responsibility model. On one hand, you have PAM administrator who will write the script, and on the other hand, we have enterprise admins who will make necessary changes within the Enterprise Manager to get it recognized. So far, you got good insight into fleet maintenance capabilities. Now, I'm going to quickly summarize. Here is a quick summary of the process you might be following in your organization and its impact. If you are relying on homegrown scripts for lifecycle management of databases and grid infrastructure, you'll have numerous manual steps to go through, and impact of this is large. It is bound to be error-prone, resulting in low success rate. It's hard to patch at scale. You'll have longer maintenance window. And most importantly, you need to maintain those scripts, which is going to be very expensive from overall OpEx point of view. And finally, it's time consuming to patch. Based on actual data, it takes about 2 weeks to patch 10 clusters. This is where fleet maintenance can make it easier with its own bookkeeping and scale level of operations. Process-wise, you'll create a reference environment and a gold image which you want your targets to be aligned with. You subscribe your database targets to this gold image, then deploy these gold images as shadow home as this is out of place patching, and then switch the targets to use the new Oracle home. If you look at the impact with fleet maintenance, as an example, you can patch 10 clusters in less than 4 hours. So clearly, you see the value of leveraging fleet maintenance capabilities as opposed to any other tools in the market, whether it's homegrown scripts or any third-party tool. So here are more resources available for you to learn more about fleet maintenance. There are a few videos and documents showing why and how you can secure your assets. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer your queries now. Thank you.
Romit, you covered a lot of ground, and certainly just a few of the capabilities within database lifecycle management. As you were speaking, I provided some links in the chat window, so folks can utilize those resources as well. The team just in fact completed a whole 3-day technical forum on Enterprise Manager, and we're in the midst of getting all those replays posted. So if you missed that, certainly it's a great resource. And then of course, Romit and team and others will be out at Cloud World in September. So we hope we get to see many of you out there as well. So we can further talk to you about these solutions and show some examples of how they're used to solve real business problems. But at this point, any extra questions? Now's the time for Romit and the team. Okay, well, Romit, excellent presentation and content. Again, we thank the NYOUG members for this opportunity. We're always available should you have further questions after this event. Looks like a question has come in. Let me check. So they're asking about the PAM integration. Is it a separate license? And the answer is no. That is a new functionality that was introduced as part of database lifecycle management. Correct, Romit?
Correct.
Yep, great question. Thank you for that. Okay, well, back over to you, NYOUG.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Romit.
Thank you guys so much. If you guys do have any other questions, feel free to send them over to NYOUG or myself with any follow-up emails you get from us. Also look for links on how to rewatch today's webinar, whether it's through nyoug.org or www.orapub.com. It'll probably take us, it takes us between 24 and 48 hours to get everything posted. So just be patient with us. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And Romit, thank you so much for presenting for us today. We hope to have you back. And Steve, thank you as always for partnering with us as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys. Take care and have a great day.